Leave her, divorce. I do not feel no remorse. Bodie, buck, zipping no up in the stuff. Gucci, cuffs. I keep my shit from the mud. No, I do not want to leave her, but I do not want to keep her. Pulling up just like the Reaper. Music blasting through the speakers. Big racks for the feature. I'm not a regular creature. Wrist game like a freezer. Bro, bitch, I don't need ya. Trust me, I don't need ya. Going up like a fever. Big woods of the reaper. Get class like a senior. Hit the pot like a Peter. I ain't never been a cheater. Just break up and then delete it. Hey, put all the cash in the duffel. Off-white on the buckle. See the gold, see the muscle. Yo, really want trouble. Catch me riding in the drop. Gucci on my top. Why you in the shuttle? Put your booty like a bubble. Drop top, horse. 200 bands on the Porsche. Leave her, the horse. I do not feel no remorse.
Hey guys, I'm finally back. If you guys are wondering where that song's from, that's from RMG's Hip Hop and Bass EP. And the name of the song is Nija by DJ XO. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this EP and the rest of the EPs and the Daily Wavelengths. But I just want to say I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be talking to you guys again. It's been a while. It's been kind of weird not actually having podcasts up since I've been doing it frequently for like weeks in a row. So that's really weird for me not to have anything up. But I've been still doing reaction videos. Hopefully you guys have been watching it. Hopefully I'm thankful for everybody that has subscribed to the channel past 100 subscribers. That was a milestone for me. I know it's like a little milestone, but to me it's a big thing that I was able to make it to 100 subscribers in the amount of time that it took for me to get both my podcast and my YouTube channel running. So thank you again to everybody that's been listening as well to this podcast. So I just want to thank you guys for listening to me for these past couple of episodes. I'm happy to be back. So let's get into what we always do when I come back, and that is doing our daily wavelengths. So what I've been listening to over the past, I can't even say week because I have to be honest and say 2 weeks since I've been off. So over the last 2 weeks, I've been really focused in on Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer album. And I don't know if you guys have heard the whole album, but you have heard the singles. Make Me Feel, I Like It, Pink, I'm missing one, and Django Jane, which is one of my personal favorites. This whole album is pretty much just an anthem for me. And then Janelle Monáe recently came out as pansexual. So that's a big thing for herself. I'm not going to say for everybody else, because for herself she decided to do it, and she decided to be open and talk about her struggles with accepting this part of herself, and how it would affect her career in the music industry and stuff like that. There was an article in Rolling Stone where she got into more depth about what it means to be a black woman that's queer, and then just pansexuality, because bisexuality and pansexuality are two different things. They're not exactly the same. Well, so let me get into it. So pansexuality, they're able to be attracted to and be sexually attracted to and fall in love with either a cisgendered female, or a trans individual. So either they be a trans woman or a trans man. So they are able to romantically be with people of the trans community. So that's the main difference from bisexuality. Bisexuality is just you being attracted to either a cisgendered cisgendered man or cisgendered female. So if you guys didn't understand that, that's why I wanted to just put that in there. But you guys can also read the article in Rolling Stone, and I think there was another article, but the main article I paid attention to was a Rolling Stone article. But and then another thing about this album that I really loved is that she did what she calls, we would call it a visual album, because it's pretty much going throughout the album. It's all the songs from the album, but she did it in a certain way to make it more cinematic. So we would call it a visual album, like how Beyonce did hers and stuff like that. But her framework for this is, it's called an emotion picture, which I really like, that she gave it a different name. And it just fits who Janelle Monáe is as an artist, so it just fits in my opinion. But I really love the album. Those singles that I just said are probably my favorite ones out of it. I've been listening to that frequently, so I'm sure it's going to change over the coming days and coming weeks of which songs are my favorites. But those singles, and then like Dirty Computer, specifically, are like they just make me feel good. So I really appreciate that. I'm just happy for Janelle Monáe. Been a fan of hers for a while, and I feel like she's finally getting the kind of respect and credit for her artistry and her creativity. And it's been a long time, in my opinion, for her to get this type of support. So I'm thankful for that. Another song I've been listening to is Stefflon Don, 16 Shots. If you guys know me, you know how I get when either reggaeton or dancehall music comes on. Like, I love R&B and I love hip hop, but there's just something about when Caribbean island music comes on that just gets me all the time. But Stefflon Don is a newer artist. You guys have heard, I'm sure you guys have heard the song Hurt Me, with her and French Montana. That's another one of her songs that I really like as well. But I've been listening to that over and over and over again, especially after seeing Teyana Taylor in the new Honey movie. It's all on Netflix. But it's featuring Teyana Taylor and Brashear Gray from Empire, and Honey. So this is one of the songs that they dance to in like a club scene. And if you guys have been watching my reaction videos, you'll see one of the choreographers that I reacted to when she did a collaboration video with Aaliyah Janelle. So you'll see her in this movie as well. So if you guys are into the whole dancing movie scene and dancing movies in general, you guys should enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. So that's where I first heard the song and fell in love with it because of the scene. And then I watched the video and I loved the video as well. So let's get on to all the RMG stuff. So like I said, what you heard was DJ EXO's Nija from the hip hop and R&B EP that they just released. They've been releasing a couple of I think it's up to 6 EPs over the last few months. They've been releasing EPs. Hip hop and R&B is one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites is the Key of RMG with the singer-songwriters EP, and then the newest one is the Under the Covers covers EP that they recently did. I'm just gonna go through some of the songs that I really like by them. Obviously, Nija is one of those songs. Let me get into my phone, see if it's actually gonna work. Okay, so on the hip hop and R&B EP, my favorites are probably Second by Andorra. If you guys have watched the whole interview with Andor about his self-titled album, you know this is one of my favorite songs by him. Anyway, Pick One by Kenz is one of my favorites, who's been a guest on here before. Take a Story by Who Am I, another guest that was on here before. It's another great song. Fatal A's Phone is a good song as well. Then Drippin', which has been a single for Javon, but he put it on Javon Eric Cole's on his own projects, but it's been on this EP as well. So those are good songs that you guys should listen to. And that's I pretty much named the whole album because it's 7 tracks. So those are like my favorites off of this EP. When it goes to So when it goes to the singer-songwriter EP, which is the Key of RMG, my favorite songs are Blue for You by Rachel Maya, who you guys know, and Soph did a song called Infinity that I really love. I just love the vibe of it. And then L2 by Tyler Sarfat is another great song. And then another song, I don't know if you guys are, you guys don't know Anis, but his name is Anis and Brazi. This song is called Crazy for Your Love. I love this song because it's different from the rest. I feel like it's very it's very moody, and then Anis has a unique, like a very deep, dark voice, which I think fits on this song very well. So if you guys are interested, go listen to these EPs on not on Spotify yet, but they're on SoundCloud, on YouTube, Bandcamp, and I think that's it. But the last album is called Under the Covers by RMG, and my favorite songs off this. So I wasn't expecting some of these songs and some of the collaborations that were on here, but hold on for 1 second. Because my phone is acting up. Okay, so again, here are some of my favorites off of this. So Brittany Cook, another one of our guests, has done a cover of I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen, if I can speak, which is a very great cover. Then Giovanna Crescenzo, featuring for Side to Side by Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj, obviously. Then we have Rachel Maya and Quentin Lewis doing one of my favorite songs by Daniel Caesar, which features her, which is called Best Part, and their voices just fit so well together, and you guys know how much I love Rachel's voice. And then another song I really like that was covered is Baby I'm Yours by Arctic Monkeys. I'm not familiar with the artist, but the singer on this is named Sydney Atkinson. So she really made me like this song. So if you guys are interested, go listen to all these EPs that I just talked about and go check it out on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Bandcamp. If you get a chance, you guys won't be disappointed. And there's also other EPs that have been out, but these have been the main ones that I've been listening to. So hopefully you guys liked some of the music that I was talking about. Leave it in the comments. DM me on our Instagram at Welcome to the Wavelength on Instagram, and tell me which songs are your favorites. tell me what songs you guys have been listening to over the 2 weeks since I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So it'll be interesting to hear what you guys have been listening to as well. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to get into some serious topics after a while. But I want to start off with something that has been a topic for a while, for not very recently. It's Childish Gambino's "This Is America" video. This is America video. Sorry, I can't speak. So I recently reacted to this on my channel. So I kind of gave some of the stuff away of what I would probably say on here, but I'm gonna recap for people that haven't seen the video. This video is very interesting. I really like the imagery of the video. It's very it talks pretty much about pretty much about how in America there's different I'm getting my stuff mixed up. So there's a lot of different viewpoints from this. So one viewpoint, which is my viewpoint, I view this is showing how in America continuously guns are being used to kill a vast majority of African American people, and then it seems like it just occurs from time to time again, and we keep getting distracted, and then after we're done being distracted, there's another killing or shooting of a unarmed black person. Either it be shooting a black person, it be racially discriminating against a black person. Again, it's mostly about getting killed by guns for the video, but I'm just bringing that portion into it with just the racial tension that we have, especially with the Starbucks incident and the recent incident with Yale, with a black female student sleeping in the common area, and then somebody calling the police on her because they said that she doesn't belong there, even though she did. So it's going on with those lines of talking about what's been going on in America. Another thing is there's been a lot of backlash as well because of the amount of violence that's been shown in the video, especially on both sides. So there's been people saying that this video shouldn't be on air because it's showing too many things about violence and very like graphic and stuff like that. And then other people are criticizing it because they don't like to see the images of a black man doing all this to other black people. So there's been things on both sides of the aisle on that. Again, I think that it's really just showing us how we're all just distracted and how this stuff keeps continuing to happen, and there's never been a solution to the problem. It just keeps on happening, and then we get back on our phones and we get into like a dance craze, or like we get into whatever is popping on social media, like either it's like a funny meme or like the Met Gala, like we were talking about the Met Gala instead of like certain issues that we should be addressing. And on a recent podcast, I talked about how some music, it seems like people, especially with the Grammys, how some people, it seemed like the music that was being awarded was stuff that was distracting us instead of making us think about what's really going on, how we can fix it. So if you guys, I talked more about it in the Grammy podcast that me and Soph had, and some other podcasts as well. So check those out. But my overall thing is, I really think that it just opened up the conversation, which I think was the whole point of him making this video, was to open up a conversation about how technology and how the racial divide and racial tension in this country has grown. It's always been there, but it's it's been shown on such a huge level now that technology is so advanced, where everybody has a cell phone and they can just record everything, or everything's just a news story in like 2 seconds. With the right amount of people, it can just be a news story that hits 1 million views in 2 seconds with the right title and stuff like that. So I would say check this video out. And then, like I said before, DM me with your comments about what you guys thought about the video, how did you feel about the video, and what message did you take away from the video. And one interesting thing, I'm not going to tell you what the interesting thing is, but you guys will be surprised about who's actually in the video at the end of the video. I'll just give you that hint. There's somebody at the end of the video that you wouldn't expect to be in the video because they weren't in the video the whole time. But let's get on to another topic that we can talk about. So recently, Tidal has been accused. This article is by Andrew Flanagan on NPR.com. If you guys want to read this article, so Tidal has been accused of faking hundreds of millions of plays for Kanye West and Beyonce. So it goes on to explain Beyonce's Lemonade and Kanye West's The Life of Pablo were always bound to be overwhelmingly successful albums. Returns after relatively long absences from two of the world's most well-known artists. But Tidal, the streaming service purchased by Jay-Z in January 2015 and introduced to the public just 2 months later in a celebrity stacked event, has been accused of artificially inflating the play counts of both, according to a lengthy investigation by the Norwegian newspaper Dagens Næringsliv. I'm sorry if I got that pronounced that so wrong. It said, and then it continues, says both artists are artist owners of the company. So in this piece, the newspaper says it was surreptitious, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, given a hard drive containing internal company play data, billions of lines of it spread across dozens of files. And it said the paper found evidence of certain users having streamed the two albums a surprising amount, 15 plays of Lemonade in full in one day by one person. The paper interviewed that person, a 34-year-old Washington, D.C. law student, to ask if she could verify that the plays were hers. And then the person they asked said, "I love Beyonce, but 11 hours, no," she told the newspaper. So there's been claims of, you guys can get into more of the article on NPR. If you guys are interested in this, it's very recent. It just happened yesterday, and that this was recorded. So I don't, while it's being accused that Tidal did this, I kind of find it hard to believe, just because of the kind of artists and the kind of impact that these artists have had on the music industry. So it's kind of hard to believe that the numbers that they claim that they got were false. It just doesn't, in my opinion, just doesn't make any sense. And some of the examples that I don't know. I had to look at this more to really do a whole opinion about it. But my opinion, like I said, is I don't think it's absolutely true. And then again, this is accusation. So, because especially with Beyonce's fan base, Beyonce's fan base has been a loyal support for her for a long time. And you can just look back at when she released her self-titled for iTunes, how iTunes was crashed when she released it. Like, when she decided to release it without any notice, like, iTunes literally crashed for a couple of days, for like a couple of hours, because of so many people buying the album. So, again, it's kind of hard to believe. And then Kanye West has done things like that too, where his fans have pretty much taken over and made sure that he was successful. When speaking on Kanye West, I'm sure you guys have heard about some of the things that Kanye West has been saying, especially his slavery comment about how it was a choice for 100 years and all that. So it's been like a whole big controversy, especially, and then a comparison between Childish Gambino for what he's recently done with This Is America, how people are doing memes about how Childish Gambino is what Kanye West should be doing. I really hate this whole comparison between them because I think it's more of what people are doing now is that since Kanye is doing something that people don't like, and quite frankly, I'm not the hugest fan of Kanye West, and especially the comment about slavery really rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm not really a fan of his, but I just don't like the comparison because I feel like people are just saying that they like Childish Gambino because of one song, but Childish Gambino doesn't get the kind of support musically that Kanye West has gotten, so it's kind of weird that people are giving him all the support, Childish Gambino all the support recently. But my thoughts about the whole Kanye West thing, I'm irritated about it, I'm sad, because it's just feeding into all the racist people on the right, saying that slavery was always a choice, and slavery and the effects of slavery don't have any effect on people, not just black people, on white people as well, because we tend to talk about the effects on black people a lot when it comes to slavery, but there's effects on white people as well. It's affected all of us in a negative way. We just have different experiences on how it's affected us. But that's another podcast. So I'm really irritated about that. I didn't listen to the 2 songs that he released because I refused to. What else was I going to say? I think that's all I need to say, to be honest. But getting on to another hard topic, another very sad topic, to be honest, is that there's been finally the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement have finally caught wind in the music industry. So I don't know if you guys have recently heard, but there's been a campaign against R. Kelly for and it's recently been called excuse me. It's recently been called hashtag Mute R. Kelly. So that's been a campaign on Twitter with major artists, and there's been some artists that have been coinciding with this whole issue and plan. Let me get this article up that I have for 1 second. Okay, so hold on for 1 second. Okay, so this recently started when Geronda Pay, so this all happened when Tarana Burke, an activist of the Me Too movement, posted something about how R. Kelly needs to have his music taken off of these certain entities like iTunes, like Apple, iTunes, Spotify. I forget the other ones, but those are the main ones I remember. Where she wants all of his music taken off because of the sexual assault allegations and the fact that he's been accused of having pretty much like a sex slave ring in his home, where he's been having and this is all alleged. I can't say that it's been proven, but issues between him and his sexual deviancy have always been a question ever since since the trial between him and having the 15-year-old girl, when he had a sex tape with her back in the day. That was probably in the later 90s. So he's had this thing following him for a while, but recently this has taken hold on R. Kelly, and recently Spotify pulls R. Kelly's music from playlists, and it says for this article, it's also on NPR if you guys want to check this out. It says, starting with R. Kelly, Spotify pulls artists from playlists for hateful conduct. Let's get into this. So the music streaming giant Spotify, with 75 million subscribers and 170 million monthly users, announced a new policy that this morning regarding music that it believes to contain hate content. Alongside the announcement, Spotify also confirmed that one of the first artists to be affected by the policy would be R. Kelly, the R&B singer who has been accused of extensive sexual misconduct dating back nearly 2 decades, which I said before, but whose actions have been subject of renewed focus in the last year. In April, Kelly was condemned by a group of women of color within the Time's Up movement who called for labels and streaming services, including Spotify, to cut ties with the singer. And it continues and goes on with saying, we are removing R. Kelly's music from all Spotify owned and operated playlists and algorithmic recommendations such as Discover Weekly. His music will still be available on the service, but Spotify will not actively promote it. A further statement from Spotify provided to NPR reads, we don't censor content because of an artist or a creator's behavior, but we want our editorial decisions. What we choose to program to reflect our views. When an artist or creator does something that is especially harmful or hateful, it may affect the ways we work with or support the artist or creator. So, if you guys want to get into more about all of this, you guys can read this article on NPR. It's a recent article. It just happened yesterday, and it's also by Andrew Flanagan. But hold on, let me see. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this portion 1 second before I end on this topic. So, also in this article, it says Spotify says it will take a 3-tiered approach to policing hate on its platform. First, it's partnering with several advocacy groups. This announcement lists the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Anti-Defamation League, Color of Change, Showing Up for Racial Injustice, GLAAD, Muslim Advocates, and the International Network Against Cyber Hate. And it says, in parentheses, the groups will serve as advisors according to a company spokesperson. Second is it is introducing an algorithmic internal monitor called Audio Watch. And third, a hear something, say something approach, giving people the option of reporting content as well. And it goes on to say, we believe in openness, which is Spotify, diversity, tolerance, and respect, and we want to promote those values through music and the creative arts as policy begins. So again, and then also another person has also been removed from here, and his name is XXXTentacion, yes, and who is facing charges of domestic abuse in Florida from his popular Rap Caviar playlist, which according to a report by the New York Times included a song by the rapper as recently as Wednesday. So again, it's not only affecting R. Kelly, but R. Kelly's been the main person that they've been using to rally for this whole thing, and XXXTentacion has been the next victim of this. So again, you guys can read this article. I think that we're getting into I'm happy that it's finally getting into the music industry. But there's going to be a lot of growing pains with what policy is created and how policy is going to affect certain artists and how it's going to affect artists in particular. But when it comes to R. Kelly, this has been going on for a long time, and if this is, and all these, again, there have been more accusers that have come out against R. Kelly. They've been recently on shows with Megyn Kelly on The Real, and other news places, giving their story out and stuff like that. Like I said, this is a hard topic to talk about, because for me, I've always loved R. Kelly's music. But the whole thing with him sexually assaulting people and just taking people under the will and stuff like that, I don't condone. So if this is all true, he needs to get time in jail and for what he's done, and the people need to get justice for what he's done to them. So on that topic, I just have to say that I would never want this to happen to me or one of my friends. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, R. Kelly, they're just going after R. Kelly and stuff like that. He's been doing this for a long time, and now people are accusing him. And the whole thing with Bill Cosby got charged and is most likely going to go to jail for 30 years. So we're in a time where people are finally getting justice for sexual assault and stuff like that. But now it's affecting the music industry. So I feel like we're on the right direction with trying to get people justice, but there's going to be some growing pains with trying to figure out what's best for everybody. But I'm going to take a short little break, and then we're going to get back into the rest of the topics that I have. It's not that much. I think we're done after that. So I just have one more topic, and then I'll be done. So I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Bye.
You're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're my sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all. Oh, I just wanna see. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I'll follow, no matter how far. If life is...
Alright, guys, I'm back with the next topic, but I just wanted you guys to hear Rachel Maya and Quentin Lewis. The cover of Best Part by Daniel Caesar and Her. Go check out the Under the Covers EP if you guys like this cover, which you guys have heard so far. But let's get into the next topic. So, Chris Brown has been in the news again. I'm not excited about it because this is one of my favorite artists. But so this is what has been going on. So recently he's been accused and sued by a woman who says she was raped at his house. And Chris Brown is not the one being accused of raping the woman that has been accused of raping Jane Doe. The woman's going to be called Jane Doe. But in this article is on New York Times, and there's another article on NPR that you guys can check out if you guys are interested in reading about this topic. So the article that I'm looking at right now is from the New York Times. So this was made on May 9th. So the article... So it reads, the R&B singer Chris Brown is facing claims in a lawsuit that a woman was repeatedly raped by a friend of his during a drug and alcohol-fueled party at his Los Angeles house last year. So this happened all in 2017, according to Jane Doe. Now, the person that's being accused is a rapper that Chris Brown has worked with called Young Lo before. So that's... who's been accused of doing this rape. So Gloria Allred is a high-profile women's rights lawyer. Filed a suit against Mr. Brown on Wednesday on behalf of a woman who says that she was held against her will his house in February 2017, raided by his friend Lowell Grissom Jr., who is Young Low, and then he is also named as a defendant in the suit. So the woman called Jane Doe in the suit to protect her privacy. It's also suing a woman who the plaintiff says forced her into a sexual act. The female defendant is called Doe X because the accuser did not know her name. 50 other people are listed as defendants, all unnamed because the accuser did not know their names. And it goes on to say, this is Allred's quote, this is one of the most horrific cases involving alleged sexual assaults that I have ever seen. At a news conference on Wednesday, she said her client has been severely traumatized. The case alleges sexual battery, gender violence, battery, assault, and civil rights violations, among other things. And what Chris Brown's lawyer, Mark Geragos, hopefully I pronounced that right, told TMZ on Wednesday that before filing a lawsuit, Ms. Allred and her client had demanded $17 million from Mr. Brown, which his lawyer rejected, and he says, my investigation shows that none of those allegations are true. He said Chris is a target, and then in response to this, I never made a demand for any amount of compensation whatsoever, let alone a demand for $17 million. And then on Thursday, Grissom's lawyer, Anthony Willoughby, said that his client vehemently denies these false and defaming accusations and stressed that no charges have yet been filed. And her lawyer, Mr. Willoughby, called the lawsuit a blatant attempt at a money grab. So, let me get this right. So, get followed. So, Mr. Willow called the lawsuit a blatant attempt at a money grab. Sorry for that. But again, you guys can read the rest of this. There's more like gruesome, like other stuff that the accuser has said about what actually happened. I'm not going to go into the details because they're like very like disgusting. Some of the stuff that she's saying that occurred during this. But in the NPR interview, it goes, the NPR, not interview, but the article, it talks about, Jane Doe talks about pretty much how the events kept going on, throughout the night. So she started at the club with one of her friends, and they both decided to go to the studio with Chris Brown and the artist, and then it continues on for that. So if you guys want to read this article that's more recent, which happened yesterday, you guys can read that. But on, like I said, with the R. Kelly thing, if this is in fact true, all the allegations against rapper Young Low, he needs to be charged for what he's done. Like, this is just, it's really sad that this just happens, all the time between men and women, and it's at the end of the day, it should never happen. Really, it should just never happen. If you like, and all these, I don't appreciate some people. I've heard people say, why did it take her so long to come? Sexual assault affects people in different ways. Some people will figure out a way to speak their mind and come out and say it directly when it happens. Some women and men, because it doesn't just happen to women, don't talk about it because they feel like it happened to them for a reason and it's their fault, and it's a whole bunch of mental trauma that goes into it that if you have never been through it, I don't think that you have a right to ever say they took too long to say it. In my opinion, that's what I believe, but I just feel like if this is true, if the allegations are true, and all the things that have been said by these people against rapper Young Lil is true, they need to be accountable. So, again, I told you guys this would be like a lot of like hard topics to talk about. Again, you guys can read both these articles on the last article I was just talking about was on NPR. And this is created by Anastasia. Not sure of her last name, but you guys can read this article. It should just pop up. It's one of the recent articles they have on NPR. And then the other article that was a few days earlier is on the New York Times, and this is by Maya Salam, and this is on May 9th. So you guys can check both these articles out, and I'm sure there's other articles you guys can check out. And then I'm going to run down the articles that I've read about the whole Me Too founder Tyrone Burke response to R. Kelly, about some of his comments about what people are doing for his music. This is on NPR as well. The title article I was talking about was on NPR as well. And these are all recent NPR articles as well. And then the most recent article dealing with R. Kelly and Spotify is yesterday, which is made sense by Andrew Flanagan. So you guys can check all these articles on NPR and on New York Times. So again, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Hopefully, guys, I talked about these topics where you guys can understand what's going on. This is not a very happy thing to hear about all these accusations and all these rape incidents and stuff like that. It's not great to hear. But like I said, if these accusations are true, people need to be taken accountable, and the law needs to protect these women, just to show that the law is actually on people's side when it goes into these hard topics. But I'm going to try not to leave it with this energy on here. So I'm going to get into what I've been doing over the last 2 weeks. Just some stuff that's been going on. So here's some stuff that's been going on. So I think the last time I talked to you guys, we were doing our performance. Yeah, we were doing the performance for the performance class. So everything went very well. Both classes did great. If you guys are on my Instagram, my personal Instagram at dwrita, d.writa. You guys have most likely seen some of the stuff I posted where Brittany was singing. So I was proud of her doing her own solo in the song. I didn't catch on the video. I didn't catch her when she was actually doing the solo, but she sung a solo, and I was very proud of my girl. She did a great job. I was proud of everybody in her class. Everybody had a lot of energy, and it felt good. The solo stuff that I did with another one of my classmates, Ryan, we did good because we sung Homemade Dynamite, the remix with SZA, Khalid, and Post Malone, Side Eye. So that was good. Everybody just did a good job, and it was fun. After that, we all went to the club after that. So pretty much I was dancing the whole night. So all my friends all the people that I wanted to be there were there. I got to see some old friends, some new friends. It was just a good night. But other than that, and then I'm finally done school. All my finals are done. I can finally relax. That just happened like last week. So this week that we're in now has been the first week where I've been off. So it's kind of weird not having school and not like doing nothing. So I've been like relaxing and just trying to catch up on all the shows I've been missing. So tell me some of the shows you guys have been watching, and you guys can DM me these, and write in the comments what you guys have been doing, and some of the shows you guys are watching. So I'm trying to catch up on all these shows. Like I missed like Empire, I missed Star. I don't know if you guys watched The Fosters, but I literally missed like the whole like season of The Fosters. I'm happy I came out of the whole school thing with Dear White People, which is it's on the second season. I love that show, so I binge watched that one night. So I'm good with that. But there's some other stuff I need to get to. But I really want to talk to you guys about some ideas that I have. So I've been thinking, and I go back and forth with this all the time. So what I've been thinking is that I might start recording. So I've been going back and forth for a while. I haven't been writing. I've been in like a huge writer's block, and kind of feeling like some of the stuff I'm creating is not good enough. I'm kind of like a perfectionist, so if it's not like something that is good and like I just can't see where it's going, I don't like it, so I don't continue. So I kind of like stop myself from writing songs and stop myself from really singing. So I'm trying to get. So my purpose of saying this is I'm trying to get into recording, and my plan is to have at least a single out by next year, sometime next year. That's my plan. I just want to at least do a single. I'm not going to promise anything more than that, but my thing is I'm going to make it a milestone for myself. Like I did for YouTube, getting the 100 subscribers in the time that I've been doing YouTube. And just doing the podcast, period. I'm just making a milestone for me. Trying to record a single and just like sending it out either on SoundCloud. If I can get on Spotify, that would be great. And YouTube and stuff like that. And might do like a music video to it. That's just like my plans for myself. Because I feel like while I love supporting my friends, and then my friends always have wanted me to continue to do music, they always like get mad at me because I don't put anything out and stuff like that. So I think it's time for me to get out of my own way and start recording some stuff. So it's going to be an interesting journey. I'll probably keep talking to you guys about this in the next few podcasts that I do. But that's my plan. Hopefully something comes out next year, or probably even before next year, but next year is like the time where I'm just like, this has to come out if I'm going to do it. But that's pretty much what I've been doing. That's what I've been thinking, especially being home by myself. You have a lot of time to think about certain things in your life. That's pretty much what I've been doing. Again, thank you guys for listening to my podcast. I'm done. It's good to talk to you guys again. It's been 2 weeks, so I'm happy to have some part of my schedule back to where I'm used to my schedule again with this podcast. What I'm going to leave you guys with is another one of the songs from the EP. So a song that I'm going to choose is going to be random. So let me get into SoundCloud real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to leave you guys with this as I give you my handles for you guys to check me out on Instagram and our page. So, okay. So this song is by Tyler Sarfat on the Key of RNG EP, and this is called L2. So, my handles, my personal Instagram, like I've been saying throughout this podcast, is DWrita. That is it's D.WRITA, and that's my personal. Instagram, and then our main Instagram for the whole podcast is Welcome to the Wavelength. That's Welcome to the Wavelength. No spaces in between, and our pictures should show up, and hopefully you guys DM me all the information I asked you guys to do, and leave your comments down below. I'm really interested in getting you guys more involved in the podcast and just involved in the conversation. So again, thank you guys for listening as always. And I'll see you guys in the next week's podcast. Wow, I haven't done it in a while, so see you guys next week. Bye.